Hello everyone, welcome to Stamping with Annis. I'm going to be demonstrating how to make this card today. I'm going to make the card slightly different though, for the video. So I will be using the Papillon Potpourri stamp set. And my sentiment is from the Made For You stamp set. You will need a piece of Island Indigo cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5, a piece of Whisper White cut at 4 by 5.25, a piece of Rich Razzleberry cut at 2.5 by 5.25, a piece of Pool Party cut at 2.25 by 5.25, and 3 pieces of Whisper White cut at 2 by 1 5/8. And you will also need a little piece of Whisper White to do the Stampin' Emboss technique on. And I'm going to do that part first actually. So I'm just putting a piece of scratch paper down on my work area here. And you will need your Versamark. And I'm using silver embossing powder and your heat tool. So, and also you need your sentiment. So I am actually going to take my Versamark and turn it upside down, and I'm going to ink up this piece. I know you can't really tell because it's on white. Oops. This piece of Whisper White cardstock. So just like this. Ooh. So just like this. Then what you're going to do is take your silver embossing powder and you're going to put it all over your piece of cardstock. Okay, let me just do this side quickly. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it being perfect. Okay, and then you're just gonna set your heat tool going. And if you have the new Stampin' Up heat tool, you're gonna want to set on 2. It's just gonna take a second to get going here. There we go. I'm just going to give this a second to dry. I learned this technique by watching a Stampin' Up video, and I will link that in the down bar. I'm just drying it a little bit here. Cooling it down. Okay, so then I've missed some spots, but that's okay. Because you're going to go back over it again with your Versamark, and this time I'll really ink it up with the Versamark this time. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put another layer of embossing powder on, like this. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set that. This second layer goes much quicker with the heat setting. And then if you're fast enough, you can just put the embossing powder directly on this piece without having to reverse a mark. So I'm hoping I'm going to be quick enough here. I don't know if I am, but let's see. I think I'm gonna just made it just in time. So you can just put your embossing powder, whoopsies, directly on here. Okay, and just give it a light tap. Okay, so then here comes the fun part. So what you want to do is you want to have your Versamark right here with your sentiment all inked up in Versamark. So you want this ready before you do this next step. So you can tell it's got Versamark on it because that it's well inked up because it's quite shiny. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. So turn the heat tool on. Melt your third layer of embossing powder. Okay, and I'm not going to be finicky about this being straight because I'm actually going to punch it out with a punch. So here we go. And you just press it down lightly. Whoops. Let me turn it off. And there you have it. Is that really neat? I'm going to zoom in on that for you. Is that neat? And then when you punch it out with a punch, it looks like it's a piece of metal, kind of like a dog tag almost. Okay, so that is the Stampin' Emboss technique. So now I'm done with all this stuff. So let me just move all this stuff off to the side. And I'm just going to put this to the side so it can properly dry and everything for me. And see, then I've kind of kept my work area clean of embossing powder. Okay, so now on to constructing the card. So you're going to first get your 3 pieces of Whisper White cardstock that you've cut at 2 by 1 5/8, and your stamp from Papillon Potpourri. I'm going to use the one that looks like a monarch butterfly for this one, and so I'm going to use my Island Indigo ink, and I'm going to ink up my butterfly. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, and I'm going to stamp this up. And I'm sorry if I come into frame here, but this is the only way that I can do this to make sure that it goes on straight and centered, basically, is by looking over my stamp. Okay, so there's our butterfly. And then what I did was I inked the edges in Pool Party. I'm sorry if there's a glare. Okay, so ink up my sponge and go ahead and ink all around these pieces here. Okay, so close that up. Put that to the side. Okay, now I've already done my other 2. So then you're going to get your piece of Pool Party, which is 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And sorry, I've just got little bits of embossing powder all over everything. And I'm just going to use my snail. And I'm going to just put snail on the back of all 3 of these. Oops, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to just line them up. And I do the top and the bottom one first, and then I line up the middle one. Just so I can try to get the same amount of border on both ends. And the same amount between these 2. Okay, and then I'm going to put snail on the back of this. Whoops. Would help if I didn't have it upside down. And that's going to go on my piece of rich raspberry, which is 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. Okay, and then I'm going to first wrap some Island Indigo twine around my piece of Whisper White. And this one I'm actually going to do at the top first. Wait. And I'm going to wrap it so that I can tie a bow at this side on the end. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to wrap this one once and come back, and this one once and come back so that I can tie a bow over here. So I'm actually just going to start it with the first. There we go, with the first one there. And then I'm just going to put that to the side, and I'm going to punch out my Stampin' Embossed, especially for you. I'm using the Modern Label Punch. And you're just going to feed it in and line it up. I'm happy with that. Okay, punch that out. And then I'm going to use my paper piercer and my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm just going to pierce a hole in the side of the tag here. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it a bit bigger by going around like this. And I'm doing it on both sides so that I can thread the twine through easily. There we go. And then go ahead and thread your twine through, but you could use a needle. Thread this onto a needle. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, and then you're just gonna tie this on here, and it doesn't matter where it ties because you can move the twine afterwards. You can make it look proper afterwards. So there we go. Tie a little bow. Okay. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to snip these ends off. Okay, and I'm just going to move this more. I'm just going to shimmy it over to the side a bit more. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to, snail this down to my card front, to the Island Indigo, which is 8.5 by 5.5. There we go. I'm gonna take the backing off the dimensionals quickly, and then I'm going to line this up on here, and then just for a finishing touch, I'm just gonna add a rhinestone to each of the butterflies for the little head, just to add a little bit more bling. Okay, and there we have it. There's our finished card. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and there's my two different cards. So thank you very much for joining me, and take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.